Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Good morning, everyone. This is the Boat Princess coming to you live from Sanctuary Cove Boat Show. It's Sunday, 23rd of May, final day of Boat Show. It is a glorious day here in Queensland, and I am very excited to be on the stand of two of my favourite people in the industry, very passionate people in the industry that do an amazing job. I am very excited to be here today with Jess Gatt. Jess is one half of the Jess and Brian Gatt incredible partnership that creates Logix Group. Now, Jess is Managing Director. She's here with me today, and I'd like her to explain just what Logix Group is.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. Well, Logix Group is basically the combination of two businesses that we operate. So we have Marine Protection Systems. We're a corrosion control manufacturer. So we create products, innovative corrosion control products for the industry.
Can you tell me what corrosion control is?
So every boat has bits of metal under the water and they need protection. So they are at risk of corrosion, so the degradation of those metallic structures under the water, and it's all the different methods that you utilise to protect them. So it's a big industry. We've got a big job ahead of us. We're constantly looking at new ways to do things that are environmentally focused. So we're extremely passionate about that. And then the other side of that is our consulting business, so professional services to not only the recreational boat owners but in the commercial space to prevent corrosion. So identification and help with the rectification of those often complex problems.
Yeah, you really are kind of investigators in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, a lot of what we do is investigation. So there's no one size fits all. There's no single resolution for everybody. As you look around today, you can see the various types of boats that are in the water, and they all have their different needs and intricacies, and we're looking at the combination of many, many systems on board. So we're looking at what is the boat made out of, what is its use, what is the operating systems on board, and all of these things have to be considered really carefully. They need to be tested to see how they work together to understand the best resolution to create efficiencies and to ultimately reduce maintenance. That's what we're looking at.
So how do you actually give me some tools you use to actually solve those issues?
It's quite extensive, and absolutely as we've gone throughout the years, it's evolved and grown into some often quite complex and expensive tools. We use a lot of electrical equipment, so you're looking at different scope meters and multimeters and infrared cameras because we're looking for heat and energy losses, and we manufacture some products that are used for the detection, so reference electrodes, which are things that we put in the water. So there's quite a list that goes into it these days, and that's something that we work with the industry as a whole as well, is to help promote more people understanding how it works, more people capable of doing testing, because there's a lot of work for one small business, and we'd really like to promote the idea of being proactive and understanding corrosion in a much bigger sense. It's very poorly educated in the industry, so we'd like to see a big shift to bring the ability to test to a lot more trades around the world, but it's a big job.
I love that about you guys. You have a genuine passion for sharing your knowledge and really getting this message out there. Can you tell me how somebody can tell they need you?
That's a really good question, because corrosion or corrosion-related issues can be so extensive. So one of the most common things that we would be looking at is that if someone's propulsion system, so whether it's their shaft drive, sail drive, outboard engine, are showing signs of corrosion. So you can see pitting, you can have complete loss of metallic structure. We're looking at anodes, so are the anodes in a poor condition?
Can you just explain what an anode is?
Okay. That's a big question. And look, and it's one that, we have a tank set up today to explain to people how anodes work. Anodes have been around for the last over 200 years. The technology has not really changed. So a lot of what we do is educating what an anode is, why we need to have choice, and why there should be differences in the marketplace and a point of differentiation. My goodness, that's a big word. So an anode is basically a more active metal that is put into place with a metal that you're trying to protect. So on a shaft-driven boat, you have a bronze propeller on usually a stainless steel shaft. That bronze propeller is technically a more active metal than the shaft, and it will corrode to protect the shaft. Okay, you think back to year 10 science when you're talking about the galvanic series of metals, that's what we're talking about. So when you put an anode in place on a shaft, it is more active than the propeller blade, and so the anode will then degrade to protect the propeller blade and the shaft. Obviously, as we go to different combinations of metals, there needs to be a consideration as to what are the metals that we are protecting and what is the right anode for that. So basically, an anode is designed to degrade and is designed to be replaced every 1 to 2 years.
And that's one of my messages to boat owners. That's why actually lifting your boat for anti-foul once a year is so important, because the anodes need to be checked. And if you leave your boat in the water for longer than a year, you may have a bigger problem on your hands rather than a smaller problem which somebody like Logix Group can actually deal with for you. So how on earth did you get into this, Jess?
I do get asked this question a lot because I'm in quite a technical role in a very small niche within our industry. It's like, how the hell did you get here? And I do ask myself that question. I have a medical background, believe it or not. I have a medical science degree, and this is totally left field of where I thought I would be, but I've always had a passion for boats. And Brian, my husband, is a very clever electrician and has a wonderful understanding of the way boats, like he can pull anything apart and put it back together, like very clever in that regard. And he just kind of found himself falling into this rabbit hole very organically. We still don't advertise, our consulting business, and it's like we're up into the Navy and doing some really big projects. It's very exciting. But I don't think you can. I just get it, which I'm very lucky, and I have an ability to break down often complex problems and explain it to people. Brian just goes down the rabbit hole and people glaze over. So it's a good combination, So how I ended up in it is, one, I found a passion for it. And secondly, we just love the people that we work around. We're in a wonderful industry, and around the world we've just formed some wonderful friendships and working relationships, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I agree with you. The boating industry really does create friendships, doesn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing there, you have a scientific brain.
Yes.
So that's where your electric acceptance of working with different materials going. I'm also hearing you're a good communicator.
Yeah.
So in terms of your business, you would be the really strong person that would, communicate to a client exactly what they're needing and why. Would you put that as
absolutely. And it's so dependent on the client. Some people are just fix it. Commercial clients, they know that it can be quite complicated and they just want a resolution. So for me, it's understanding what a client needs out of our working relationship and making sure that we deliver exactly what they need to get the results that they're after. Some people want the sit down, they want the full rundown, what is going on, and that's absolutely fine, and that's what we're here for. Sometimes we just get it done.
I know, right? Being a woman, we just get it done.
Just get it done. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're in a husband-wife business relationship, as I am with my husband.
Yeah.
It has its moments, but
it sure does.
Do you kind of take your set roles
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as our business has grown, it's enabled us to set more definition into our roles. It's certainly not something that happens from the beginning. Obviously, Brian's always been very, very technical and has been heavily involved in the consulting side of the business. And I'm the communicator, right? I highly organised, get people doing what they need to get done. So as we've gone down the rabbit hole of business, that's certainly happened, and I'm able now to be in a position where I oversee all of our businesses and how they operate and getting the right people involved, which is wonderful, and certainly I've learnt is more my skill set. So it's exciting times for our business. We've got a lot of R&D projects on the boil, which we just love because we know what problems are, and we're like, how do we fix these problems for our clients or people that aren't our clients, and we can prevent this stuff happening in the future. So it's a really exciting time to be in the position financially, good people behind us, that we can really start to look at this and tackle this head on and be the real innovators for our industry. So it's really exciting.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned financial. Do you
Yep.
look after the financials for this business?
I do. I don't know. I love Brian, but I don't know if he's paid a phone bill ever.
I have one like that too.
And that's great, like it's just, and this is what I mean. And you just create those roles, one, so you can be clear on what the expectations are and get stuff done in a really efficient manner when you are running lean operations. But at the same time, that's cool. We all have our job, and just get those things done and move on.
So, Jess, where is your business based?
So we're based on the central coast of New South Wales. So we moved up there. We're both Sydney based originally, moved up there just for lifestyle. And our business has us travelling. It used to be all over the world. Currently it's, state by state when we can get there. But so we didn't have to be anywhere in particular. Obviously, we have a lot of business in Sydney. We're not too far, but our family has a wonderful lifestyle, I suppose, living by the beach.
Let's get into that. You have family. How on earth do you do all this and family?
I question it a lot. We have 2 daughters. They're 12 and 13. They've obviously grown up with us, travelling a lot and working hard, and weekends at the warehouse and all sorts of things. And there's still times when they struggle with it, absolutely. But it's just being organised, and they're really active in their sports and surfing, and we live in an environment where they're pretty independent creatures too. So it's just, I don't get it perfect all the time. So we just work at it all the time and have fun together, and they love boating. So that's a really good thing. We have good times.
Yeah, I think if the kids actually get into the boating, they kind of understand why you're doing it a little bit more. And also as a strong woman, you are showing your daughters that this is okay and women can work and still have a family. And I think that's an incredibly important message to give to our daughters.
Oh, absolutely. And at the same time, it was 2019. I think for the last 6 months of the year, I was home maybe 4 weeks, and Brian was home, and it just got done. And so the concept that me as a mother has to be around all the time as well is not necessarily the truth, that there's a partnership here and we just make it work. So sometimes it's tag teaming at the airport. That's just what happens. And it certainly would be easier if we didn't have 2 young children. But at the same time, this is where we are, and we have 5 years left of school, and we look forward to the next phase of really being able to rip in and put some good time in. But at the same time, we still want to enjoy our family. And if that staggers the growth a little bit, then that's fine.
I'm sensing a very cohesive team, both in business and in family. And that's a really good, strong relationship by the sounds of it, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that.
We have a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what is your dream? What is your ultimate that you're heading for with this business?
Look, my ultimate dream in this business has obviously changed over the years. We've certainly achieved, I think we've been in business now 12 years, is that we've got to a point now that I'm really proud of, and we're always looking at what that next step is. We'd really like to be the true innovators for this niche of our industry, to be ahead of what people need and being proactive. And what falls into that as well is by creating innovation and understanding what we're trying to achieve, is that I see that we have a real responsibility to protect our oceans. And so what does that mean? We're looking at coatings, we're looking at anodes, we're looking at practices in the marine industry that absolutely could be done better from an environmental point of view. And I'm extremely passionate that the next phase of our business will be involved in research, currently talking to some universities in order to establish what that looks like and how that needs to be done, because I think it can be done better, and I think the technology already exists to do it, and I'd like to see some money put into that. I was involved in ASMEX conference earlier this week and spoke with Volvo and another electric motor manufacturer. And we were speaking about, obviously, the next phase of sustainability within our industry. And I think if we just focus on electric engines as being everything because we're trying to reduce fuel, we're missing the whole picture. Yes, we need to reduce fuel consumption, but what are the other impacts that our industry that we love so much and want to continue, what are the other things that we can change to create sustainability and enjoy these oceans? And a lot of what we do, coatings and anodes, this is all stuff that dissolves and goes into the ocean and does have an impact. And if we can reduce that impact and come up with technologies that are more sensitive to our oceans, then I think that that's certainly what I feel is my task with our business into the future, and we'll be pursuing that quite heavily.
Jess, that is absolutely awesome. It has been wonderful talking to you this morning. It's very easy. I know this is your first ever interview, right?
It is, yes.
You've done an amazing job, and that's simply because I'm talking to you about your passion.
Absolutely.
And you're bringing it to the table, and you have so much knowledge to share with everyone. How can people find out about you? Where can they see you online and contact you?
Yeah, okay. So probably our best stop would be our manufacturing business, which is Marine Protection Systems. So if you head to www.marineprosystems.com, we have a heap of information. We're always updating with things that we're onto and what we're trying to achieve in our business. So head there, and hopefully the team's been onto it and keeping things updated while I've been away. But yeah, that's where we're at.
And if somebody's got a real problem with their boat and they need your help on a consultancy basis, where's the best place to go for that?
Yeah, so www.logicsgroup.com.au. So that's Logix, Logix.
Thanks, Jess. We really appreciate your time this morning. I love you and Brian and your passion for this industry. You really are go-getters, and it's going to be great. And I wish you every success with your business.
Thanks, Nikki.
The Boat Princess out. See you on the water soon. Well, it's been lovely to have you listen out there, folks. I really appreciate your ears. And if you'd like to get in contact, just follow me on Instagram at The Boat Princess, and perhaps leave me a comment on today's picture of our podcast so that we can get an idea of what you thought about it. That'd be lovely. Take care, and we'll see you on the water soon.